Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another exciting episode of We Hope This Finds You Well with Rob and Chuck. Rob, what's up, my man?
What is going on, my brother? How we doing today, Chuck?
Well, we're doing just swell, peachy, ducky.
Peachy. Oh, nice, ducky. I'm not quite that good.
I got that thing from Billy Orban's mother, Marianne Jonnet.
What? Ah, yes. Jonnet?
I just say Jonnet.
Yeah, that sounds good.
But she would always say ducky. I've never really heard that anywhere else, honestly.
Good stuff. So what's been going on, buddy?
Same old shit. Work, a little bit of play here and there, kid and play here and there. That's about it. Nothing too exciting. What about you?
Oh man, it's been 5 months since the last time we did a podcast, so fuckload.
That's not true.
I believe it's true.
Our last podcast was in January.
That's not true.
Yes, it is.
It is?
Okay. Yeah.
Then
According to our webpage here, it was released on January 28th of 2018.
We have a webpage.
All right, King. January, February, March, April. 3 months. Less than 3 months.
Okay. So in the past 3 months, a lot has been going on my end, dude. A lot. I had this month and a half section of just bullshit, one right after another. I had gotten the flu, and that was a beast. I mean, we all saw how that was completely jacking people up.
Yeah, people.
So I was down and literally dying, dude, and I was not. My mangina was quite swollen, and my wife could hardly stand me because I rarely ever get sick, dude, but when I get even the fucking sniffles, I turn into the biggest wuss ever. And my wife is a critical care nurse, right? So she sees people legitimately fucking on their deathbed, knocking on the fucking door. Bob Dylan and Guns N' Roses style. And I get a little bit of a touch of the flu, just a little touch, and my shit falls apart. So I ended up with the flu, right? So start healing up from that, go back to work, get fucking rust all through my left eye, had to go to the doctor for that. I ended up tearing part of the white in my eye, which being that I know nothing about nothing, that sounded terrible to me. Once again, I guess I'm just a big wuss. Fast forward maybe 15 days, I am at the Home Depot. I may or may not have been using the restroom, and I passed a freaking kidney stone while I was in the Home Depot bathroom. Almost freaking blacked out. It was terrible. I thought I was dying. Midstream, it just shut down, and that's not something that's supposed to ever happen. So here I am staring downward, excuse me, shooting pain from my back all the way through. And fun fact about me, I only have one kidney, so whenever anything at all happens with my kidney, I get super worried, and also the doctors get worried, right? Because, worst case scenario, what's that?
I just wanted to say that Home Depot is a do-it-yourself store.
Oh, beep, bop, boom. Charlie Lynch, ladies and gentlemen. So, dude, past this kidney stone, I call my wife immediately because she's the smart one. And I'm like, baby, I think I just passed a kidney stone, whoop-de-whoop. So she's like, okay, let me talk to the doctor. And she just happened, and the nephrologist happened to be walking by on her floor. She gripped up that dude, not literally, I hope not, but she asked him, and he was like, he better go to the ER. So, long story short, backstory. When I was a young boy, maybe 6 months old or 6 weeks old, something of that nature, I had cysts. I was a young lad. I had cysts all over my kidney, right, my left kidney, and they ended up having to go in and removing that dude. Well, the doctors suspect that they may have misdiagnosed me, and I might have actually had cysts on both kidneys. So here I am, 33 damn years old, and I find out I have cysts on my other kidney, which the doctor tells me isn't that big of a deal, that there's a large percentage of folks. But that didn't make me feel any better about it. But since then, I've been feeling pretty good. Been keeping with the diet and the exercise and whatnot, drinking tons of water, and haven't had any more issues with the stones. So success, right? So that's a good thing.
Yeah, I've never had kidney stones, but I've not heard anything good about it.
This is coming out the gate with some fun, painful shit, isn't it? I've had them twice
now.
Let them
have it. Let them fucking have it.
Listen, motherfuckers, you turn this podcast on, it's your damn fault. No, but I've had them twice now. The first time I literally blacked out because I had no clue what was happening. I saw blood coming out of my nether region, and then I did not handle that well. The second time, I kind of had a general idea whenever I felt like the traveling through all that other bad stuff. Positive note, I went on vacation, went to Hawaii, so that was cool. That was after the kidney situation, so there was a very minimal amount of consuming of alcohol and things like that, but who the fuck can afford that anyway, going on vacation to Hawaii and then also drinking booze, because everything is crazy expensive there. Have you ever heard of Steel Reserve, Chuck?
Yes, I have.
You know, like the super shitty, like malt liquor big cans?
Yeah.
We went into like essentially like a Shop and Save or a Foodland or a Giant Eagle or some shit, and or a Kroger. Yeah. I just like to name drop fun ones from my childhood. And I was just thinking like, okay, I'm not going to spend a ton of money on booze. I just want one beer. And so I started looking at the beer selection. One can of Steel Reserve, what are they, like 32-ounce cans or some shit? Fucking like $12, dude. I'm pretty sure you can go into Get-Go, or I don't know if they sell them in Get-Go, but you can go into the QT here in Texas and get one of those for like $6, dude. They're like the cheapest shit ever. They were so expensive there. I got to see whales and shit, so that was cool. Some sea turtles. I saw some seals and shit. It was beautiful. Great trip.
Sounds good. I've always wanted to go to Hawaii. I hope I get to someday.
Well, someday all the Sherwins would be all growing up, Chuck, and you're definitely going to go. You and Jenny, you'd be there, Ball and Johnson dance, just swinging on the beach and shit. But I want to talk about something really fucking cool that we haven't touched on yet, and it's a year down the road now. Charles Lynch III is a fucking grandpa.
That is correct.
I want you to kind of give us the situation, because I know you've said like a bunch of times like it's not really like an easy thing to kind of describe, and it feels kind of interesting to try to explain to somebody how like you're 32 years old and you're a grandfather.
Yeah.
So tell us all about Macy Gray, your granddaughter.
Macy Gray.
I can never. That's not her name, obviously. Try to say goodbye and I choke. Marcelina, right? No, yeah, Macy Gray was awesome. I love Macy Gray. Marcelina, right?
Marceline Scarlett Scatina is her name.
Awesome. Beautiful.
So, basically, I'm 32 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you tell people you're a grandfather, especially if they don't know, your backstory or your family situation. So for all you folks listening who maybe don't know, my stepson, Ethan, is only 12 years my junior.
Mm-hmm.
So he had a baby last year, March 23rd of 2017. And so when your stepson has a baby, that makes you the grandfather of that baby. So that's how that works. It's pretty simple, but you can see.
When a man and woman come together, Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, you can see how it could, if throw people off if they don't know your story, but it's, I guess it's pretty straightforward. My stepson had a baby, so now I have a grandbaby. And she is just the sweetest little thing. She turned a year last month, and she is a cutie patootie.
Cutie patootie.
My grandpa name is Gramps.
That's perfect. That's perfect. But people always mess around with, like, the craziest Googies and all these, like, weird, no one probably has ever called their grandma Googie, but...
Googie, I bet they have.
My grandparents were Grandma Betty, because everybody has a Grandma Betty. You have or had. I'm sorry if I'm saying that one. Did you have Grandma Betty?
Grandma Betty is still here, doing well.
Of course she is. She's a spitfire too, man.
Yes, she's a cut up.
Yeah, dude, for sure. But I had a Grandma Betty, and my grandfather on my mom's side passed away, but I'm sure he would have just been like, Pap or something. My grandfather on my dad's side was Pap, and then my grandmother was Grandma Rosie. We didn't get too fucking fancy with it,
Yeah, neither did we. I have Grandma Betty. When I was younger, she was married to Grandpa Ed, who wasn't my mom's father, but her stepfather. And then on the other side, I had Grandma Teresa and Grandpa Lynch.
Right on, yeah.
Pretty straightforward.
My pap was Pap Dold. Yeah, we didn't go too fucking fancy with it. So that's pretty freaking awesome, man. It's very interesting. Ethan's all grown the hell up. Family and shit, that's wild. It reminds me how goddamn old we're getting, Chuck. I remember going and taking him bowling with a bunch of his little homies. What is it, his 11th birthday?
Yeah, that was a while ago. They were just little people.
They were little people. But then again, he was probably already taller than me at that point.
True.
Being as vertically challenged as I am. So that's pretty cool. I have not become a grandpap, but I am, like, quickly becoming my dad. Like when you're a kid and, like, you see things that your parents do and you're like, that's so silly, I'm never going to be like that. My one of the biggest things that I remember, like, distinctly not ever, like, understanding was, like, no matter if we went on, like, a vacation or more or less camping or something like that, no matter what, my dad always, like, fucking woke up at the ass crack of dawn, regardless. Like, 365 days a year, you can best bet was that Bill Dole was up smoking a cigarette, drinking coffee before the freaking, rooster crows. And not that there's very many roosters in Verona, but now I'm sure there's some hipsters that have the city chickens. But I am incapable of fucking sleeping in, dude. Like, absolutely trying to sleep in. Maybe like 7:30, 8 o'clock.
Oh, wow.
But, like, dude, I
have no problem sleeping in at all. I love sleeping.
Oh, fuck, dude. When we got married in Mexico, this was pretty awesome, actually. My pops, he surprised us and came down. It was really, really awesome, right? So, really long story short, I had said to him after the first night we were hanging out, I'm like, dude, it's weird, Pops, how much I'm turning into you. Like, when I was young, I had the worst fucking work ethic ever. And you remember that. I had a bajillion and a half jobs. And, I always would sleep in. I was fucking messy as shit. Terrible. Then I met my wife, and she was like, oh, that's cute. None of that shit's going to fly. So we're on vacation, and my dad texted me at like 6:30 in the morning, like after we were just up all night drinking and shit. Text me, good morning, boy. I know you're awake. Ha, ha, ha. You're welcome. Like, you son of a bitch. I already started having my coffee at 5:30 in the morning. But specifically where I know I'm becoming my dad, right? So when we were kids, right, I was obsessed with punk music and heavier music and anything that was, like, pissed off and angry, like, as far as, like, anything from hip-hop to hardcore and everything encompassing. It had to have some kind of anger and attitude with it. Also, too, the touch of of emo and shit that was peppered in throughout there heavily.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a sucker for an acoustic song, Charlie. I really am. And we'll get into that because that's something I really want to talk to you about, i.e. the new Dashboard album. Remind me in a couple seconds after I'm off this tirade. So I am incapable of liking new music. Have you hit that wall yet where, like, anything new that comes out, aside from hip-hop music, really, for the most part, is that's, like, the only music I can continuously, like, kind of gather new shit for and like, aside from some of the new really bad stuff, but there's a lot of new real good stuff, but, like, rock and roll and punk music and hardcore and all this stuff that, like, I just had a thirst for back in the day, couldn't give a fuck. If it didn't come out between, like, 1995 and 2014, I don't care about it anymore. I've already hit that wall. I don't, like, you know, you remember riding with your parents and they had, like, this, 10 bands that they had always listened to in their car. With my dad, it was, like, Phil Collins and, like, Motown, and my mom, it was, like, fucking Black Sabbath and Barry White. That's why I have my random taste in music. I'm officially that person already. I'm only 33. Wait.
Settle down. You're giving yourself all the way till 2014?
Was that bold?
Yeah, I think that's...
No, you're right. Definitely not 2014. Definitely not.
I thought maybe you were going to go with, like, 05 or something.
No, I'd stretch into 2008.
Okay, I'll give you 2000. I'm not giving you 14, though.
You're not going to give me 14? You're probably right. I might have been being generous.
That's ridiculous.
I mean, like, music that people from our era have made into different music. I love, like, Alkaline Trio and The Loved Ones and anything that dudes from those bands do into new stuff. I love their stuff. But if it's from outside that circle, eat a bag of dicks. I'm not interested in your shit. I'm far too old. I don't have enough time. If I can't sing along with it at this point, I don't already know the words. I'm not interested, kid.
Yeah.
Have you hit that spot yet?
Yeah, I think we both have, and I think we've, you know, initially when we started this podcast, we wanted to find a way to find new music.
We did. We need to go back after that, Charlie. We fucking dropped that ball quick, fast, and in a hurry. If you're listening to this, if you're listening to this, Grimace and Ian and Paul, because those are like the three people that I know might possibly stomach this for more than 30 seconds. If you have a fan, yeah, maybe. And my wife listens to this too. It's why I know I gotta mind my.
Shout out to T.O. because I know my wife's not gonna listen.
Oh, I think she might listen to like 30 seconds of it so she can like say that she listened to it for a couple of seconds, and then I talk at her constantly anyway, so she's probably good at hearing it whenever I'm not in the vehicle with her.
Yeah, she doesn't need to hear your voice for another hour.
Oh God, no, that poor saint. But yeah, if you have a band that you think we should listen to, that you know you three in particular that I had mentioned have known us for quite some time, drop it on us. We'll give an honest review, and I'll try not to be an angry 33-year-old going on 95.
Sure. I just thought of something funny. You mentioned those three names, and I was thinking we should throw our two plugs we decided on in here. But if those are the three people listening, maybe we don't need to plug them. But anyway,
if you're not already listening to Mix Sauce, and if you're not already listening to a Fireside Chat, then lose my fucking number, nerd. Okay, that's how I feel about it.
So we always want to plug our buddy Ryan and his podcast, The Fireside Chat. He's a very entertaining fella, a very opinionated fella, and a lot of fun to listen to. We've plugged that every time, as we should, because what a great guy.
What a gem he is.
What a great guy. And as for Ian and Paul, we can plug their podcast, the Mix Sauce podcast. Ian, Paul, and Mac Massow, they talk a lot of, they call it a comic book podcast, but you don't hear too much comic book talk. Every now and then they'll review some comics, but it's a lot of movie talk, TV talk, pop culture kind of stuff. And those guys, they crack me up every time. Also a lot of fun to listen to. So,
also,
now that you heard your own plugs for your own shows.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Well, you know what? Let's do our housekeeping now too while we're at it. We hope this finds you well. That's our podcast.
Yes.
In case you haven't found it yet, you can find us on Facebook. You can tweet with us at Rob and Chuck. You can follow us on Spotify. That's the easiest way to listen. I recommend it. It's free. I know everybody listening to this has Spotify on their phone because why the fuck wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm.
All you do is look up We Hope This Finds You Well, click follow, and you can hear any new episodes that we do twice a year.
You know,
they will.
We're going to get better at this. I wish I might even take a picture of it and put it on the Facebook page and the Twitter page. I have a cup of coffee. I have a pen. I have some of my wife's printer paper. Well, I might not. There's 2 different pieces of paper here. One of which I wrote an order for cheese enchiladas with ranchero sauce and a queso, and so apparently I have multi-purposed this. One thing I want to get directly back into is if I flip to the back half of this paper, probably, what was that, fucking a month and a half, 2 months ago, me and Charlie decided that we were going to podcast, and, you know, we both got motivated, right? So, like Chuck just said, not a couple months ago, but 15 years ago when we started this podcast, 5 episodes ago, we decided we were going to keep looking into music and keep trying to do that because that's what we always did together. It was always about hanging out and listening to new music. Well, an abortion was had. Fucking Dashboard put on a new album. And, you know, I'd mentioned earlier that I've always liked different kinds of music and whatnot. And the emo, I've got an acoustic guitar, no one understands me shit, has always been my jam. So we were going to review this album. Charlie, what was the name of this album?
The album is called Crooked Shadows. It was just released a little over 2 months ago, February, I think.
Let me preface real quick before I just take a steaming fat dump all over this thing. Chris Carrabba, if you ever hear this, I still have a man crush on you. And you're beautiful in the most heterosexual of ways and whatever other way you want it. But this shit was god fucking awful, dude. I have, and I'm one of those terrible fans, right? You know, dude, I like their first 2 albums, but everything after that one was garbage. I am unfortunately that dude when it comes to Dashboard. I have this idea. I just kind of want Chris to sing with an acoustic guitar and remind me how no one understands me. But this was terrible, Charlie. And you stand by it was a quality album, don't you?
I do, but not, it's not what we want from Chris Carrabba. But I do believe it is quality music in its own right. I don't know. It's hard to say because it is kind of crappy. We both agree that there's at least one good track on the album, which was the 4th track, Heartbeat Fear, which kind of goes back. It's like an acoustic song with a little group vocals.
Yeah, that's track 4, right?
Yeah, that's correct. I haven't. Listened. See, when we were planning on reviewing this, I listened to it a bunch, but it's kind of.
And you've not listened to it since because it's dog shit, right?
I guess I can't argue that.
No, it makes me feel sad for myself that I'm such a stick in the mud that like I don't personally like growth and I don't personally like whenever bands try new things.
let's do this. Let's pull
Let's
up
let's not dance all over this too long because I don't even know if Paul, Ian, or Ryan really care at all about them, even though like I'm specifically doing this podcast to talk to them because I love you guys.
I want to quickly go over the dashboard discography.
Okay, let's do it. Actually, let's do this. This will be fun. Since you already like all of their albums, let's go ahead and you're going to say the name of the album, and I'm going to say the first 3 words that come to mind.
Yeah, you probably haven't even listened to half of them. All right, I'm just going to go.
That's okay. I'll totally lie. Paul and Ian and Ryan aren't going to know, so it'll work out.
All right, we're going to go. We're just going to go in chronological order here, so this should be easy for you. All right, Swiss Army Romance.
Daisy Diesel, your first red Honda, reminds me of that for sure. It also reminds me of Eaton Park in Harmerville and Girls Being Mean to Me in high school. Continue.
Okay, The Places You Have Come to Fear the Most.
Ooh, really starting to get into it, bringing a little bit more drums and shit into this one, I believe. I might be wrong.
It's the epitome of dashboard.
That is the album.
It is mostly acoustic. I think there's only 3 tracks that have drums.
Yes. That's the dashboard album. That is the dashboard album right there.
Okay.
Then we went to the live album.
Yeah.
The MTV2 live album that came out next.
You want to do that now? MTV Unplugged 2.0.
Great album. There's one little curly-haired fuck in the audience, and they must have had the microphone just a little bit too close to that curly-headed fuck, and you can hear his monotone ass the entire fucking album. And not that I have any kind of refined ear. I think it's because I had a man crush on Mr. Chris Carrabba. If you look back on pictures of me in high school, I looked like a fat version of him. Sideburns, pompadour. But yeah, in the video you can see him, and he doesn't even know the fucking words. It used to piss me off so bad.
Hold on. I'm
sorry.
I've only actually seen the video for the Unplugged maybe once or twice. I think, didn't you have it on DVD?
I did because it came with it. It came with it.
Mostly I've only listened to it on CD. So I don't have that remembrance of the curly-haired fuck.
That curly-headed fuck. Cotton-headed ninny muggin'.
I'll probably hear it every time now. So A Mark, a Mission, a Brand, a Scar was the first full band album. Go.
A Giant Waste of Time. No, that was an okay album.
No,
that one had
come on. Hands down.
No, just give me a fucking second, okay? That was a good album for, 3 songs. Vindicated, Hands Down, and Stolen.
Vindicated is not on that album.
Spider-Man soundtrack, dude, whatever.
Yes, originally on the Spider-Man soundtrack, but also re-released with Dusk and Summer, which is the next album. But can we go back to A Mark, a Mission, a Brand, a Scar? I disagree with you because I think that's a fucking great album. All the way through.
I spoke too soon.
It's very good.
I spoke too soon, Charlie. Okay. Now, going into Summer Dusk, whatever the fuck it was called, that was their first abomination.
It is not good.
And this is when Rob graciously bows out. I've not listened to a full album ever since because, like I said, I'm that dickhead fan.
All right.
I tried not to be.
Shade of Poison Trees.
No, terrible. You should have drank the poison.
I would say that Shade of Poison Trees is a notch above Dusk and Summer, but still in the same vein. Alter the ending.
If you say that, then I totally disagree. I'm just kidding. I value your opinion, Charlie. I feel like you have a good taste and a good ear, and you did waste however many moments of your life to listen to it. So, and I did not.
Well, with these two albums, he wrote them pretty much together. They were released only not a year apart, so pretty quick for the music industry.
I love that you were like Ray Man about this shit. Like definitely 2.5 years between the two. Definitely.
I'm staring at the fucking Wikipedia page.
Oh, that ruined it for me.
Sorry.
I thought you were off the dome with that shit, Chuck.
I mean, to be honest, I could have told you that, but also to be honest, I'm staring at the Wikipedia page.
Oh, next time, don't be so honest, okay? Let's fast forward this shit, because there was like 5 more albums, and let's face it, none of them were really that good.
There's only 2 more. Alter the Ending.
Okay, go ahead.
Alter the Ending was released in 2009.
Mm-hmm.
I listened to it maybe 2 or 3 times. It's garbage on a stick. And then we had a
steaming hot dumpster fire.
Then we had the 9-year hiatus before Crooked Shadows came out.
9 fucking years, huh?
Well, yeah, let's move on.
So, with that all being said, let's go back for a second here.
Yeah.
The topic that I wanted to bring up because it made my fucking day, life, week, something. It made me happy. I got to see you recently.
Yeah, that was fun.
Wasn't it though?
I'm really excited.
I recently, and you know, I'm here in the great state of Texas, and recently the company that I work for had to do some restructuring, so I got temporarily laid off. Restructuring not involving me. I'm just getting laid off as a byproduct of said restructuring. And so I had the opportunity to come home. And so I did. It was for a very short period of time, but I got to see my homie Chuck. And unfortunately, I didn't get to see a whole lot of friends because I wanted to try to kind of surprise and not make a big deal out of things. And the HP crew, shout out to the HP crew, I love you guys dearly. They all were doing the fucking karaoke, and it just happened to be on the same weekend that I was coming home. And that worked out fucking beautifully.
It did work out pretty good, didn't it?
It did. Every time I see those dudes, like, dudes and dudettes, and for that matter, all of my friends back home, it reminds me on how lucky I was growing up in fucking Pittsburgh, because everywhere I go, whatever, there's great people, obviously. And Texas is full of some of the nicest fucking people. But they're just not quite like my people back home. You know, not that they're any less or anything like that, but they just don't have the history and whatnot. It's really nice to just come home and it all feels kind of like it was. Everyone else has babies and shit now, and I don't have no damn babies, but it was fucking awesome. I did what I always do every time. Grimace or Ryan, I profess my love to him and how fucking cool I think he is, and how much I wish he still did stand-up comedy because he fucking killed me. And I got to see everybody. I got to sing some songs with Holshoe. That was fucking awesome. We did so if you're listening to this and you didn't know this, there's a man by the name of Michael Bradley Holshoe, and he is a mythological beast from Western Pennsylvania, originally from West Virginia.
I have no idea.
Yes, correct, the internet. So Holshoe and myself, back in the day, we did some karaoke together. I believe the first time we did it was in like Ocean City, and we would do some rap songs together, and it was one. And we ended up being able to do that again, which was like old times. Made me extremely happy. That was the first time I've ever done karaoke sober. And by sober, I mean not drunk, obviously. I wasn't all jacked up on heroin. And that is awkward. That is the most awkward shit ever, Chuck. Have you ever done karaoke? Like, you just singing by yourself?
I have, but not in a sober state of mind.
Right. I have never done it sober before. And every time I get around our people, right, and do karaoke, because we're doing karaoke, and it's so great. Oh, Rob, go ahead and do a song and make us all laugh because you're fucking goofy. And it's always, yay, fun times. Doing it sober, you realize how bad you suck. It was really, I know, like, that's not the purpose of karaoke and whatnot, but just when you think you can kind of sing and or rap, and you do it sober, it's a bad idea. It is a bad idea. I lost, I forgot the words to, what was it, Regulator? No. Nothing but a G thing. Yeah, what was the Regulators? I forgot the fucking words to that, as if that wasn't the second tape I got when I was a little kid, G-Funk era. So that was wonderful. I got to see my family. I got to see, unfortunately I didn't get to see my nephew because he's a badass hockey player. Shout out to Jacob. He plays for Central Catholic and he plays for all these other teams. He's a goalie. He's fucking phenomenal. Watch out for him in the NHL soon. But I did get to see my niece, both of them. That was awesome. Pittsburgh has changed tremendously since I've been home. Like, spent a lot of time in, like, East Liberty and, like, Bloomfield. Lawrenceville was already changed whenever I left, but it's crazy, man. Like, all of the...
East Liberty is bumping now.
Yeah, dude. I stayed with my cousin, Tony, and, he lives in Shadyside, and so it's like a quick little walk across the way. Like, growing up in Verona, East Liberty was where my grandparents lived back in the day, and then it became a rough neighborhood, and everybody moved the fuck out. Everyone went to Penn Hills and shit. My grandparents went out to like Mars, out in like toward, I believe it's Butler County. Yeah, dude, it's like super, super nice. It made me even further when I moved back, want to move to the city, but that ain't going to happen. Mama Bear is not into living in the city. And at the prices of houses in the city, and that shit definitely ain't happening.
Oh, yeah.
That is crazy, dude. But, yeah, so I got to see you, I got to see Greg, got to see my mom, my pops, got to hang out with my dad all day. That was super cool. I miss home like crazy, dude. But it's nice to come home and, like, get, like, the abridged version, like, run through everything. There's this, there's that, there's those people. Hug, 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 hug. Happiness. Back on a plane. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was good to spend time with you. We had a sleepover.
And we watched pretty garbage stand-up thing for, like, 30 seconds. We had Sheets. That was super cool.
Yeah, we did a hardcore Sheets run. I ate so much. Yeah, it was the new Seth Rogen Netflix special, some kind of charity, I don't know, but it was pretty bad.
Oh, like the dick thing? All the dicks? There was just dicks? There was just a ton of different dicks, and there were lots of, they were kind of like Muppet dicks. They were weird dicks.
Yeah. And dicks are funny. Dicks are funny, but not for that extended period of time.
You know, the funniness when it's staring you in the face for that long, it's not quite as funny anymore. It really runs its...
Yeah, then it's just a dick in your face.
Absolutely. At that point, you know, it's not such a good time. I wanted to like it so bad because there were so many different people on there that were funny, but I think I had already had, like...
There's a couple, like, decent chuckles, but it was pretty much... We're going to put this on and go to sleep now. And that worked.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Oh, dude, without me spoiling it, I'm going to work really hard not to do that because I know that bums people out really bad. So, possible spoiler alert due to ADHD. I saw, and I fucking keep fucking the name up, A Silent Place? A Quiet Place? A Quiet Place.
I believe it's called A Quiet Place. Is it? I don't know.
Okay, so I saw Jim from The Office in a fucking horror movie, and dude, go see that shit.
Good.
You know, one of my fucking great. One of my favorite things in horror movies, and I'm a big horror movie fan. I think everybody says that, but I feel like I might be. One of my favorite things is whenever you can't see the bad guy, when you can't see the antagonist, when you can't see what it is, but it's fucking horrifying. And whenever they do this, thing where they just pan with the camera in like a certain creepy fucking way, and every hair on your fucking body stands up, and you're in a movie theater and you're just like, holy fuck, and you're ready for something bad to happen, and it's so quiet and there's minimal dialogue, and all of these elements are coming together so perfectly. But there's nothing worse in those situations than when you see the bad guy, the antagonist, the whatever, and it's fucking piss poor terrible. Like, have you ever seen that in a movie where, like, they finally show the monster and you're like, well, fucking shit.
That's not what I wanted. Well,
yeah, exactly. Can you think of any movie where you've seen that? If I'm being perfectly fair, even though we've talked about it, and it's one of my favorite series, it's my favorite Netflix series for sure, but when the Demogorgon when the Demogorgon finally showed its face, and it was a fucking flower, and it just looked like a weird flower. It was terrible. It looked like labias hanging all over the place, big old fucking fat ones.
Yeah, it looks like the porn star has been in the business for 20 plus years, and it's time to move on to your next career choice, honey.
And it was,
your pussy looks like the Demogorgon's head now.
Yeah, it's true. That is true. She definitely had the Demogorgon going on. It didn't ruin that show because the show was fucking phenomenal, and I just absolutely loved it. But to not drop the ball or drop the dime on this movie, you see the bad guy eventually, but the fact that there's so much work with the music, the background, the sound effects, the build-up of the anxiety, the fact that eventually you do see the bad guy, it doesn't even fucking matter. Like, the storyline and everything else that was going on was just so fucking dope. It was great. I had a great time. My wife was scared as shit in that movie theater. It was wonderful. I had trouble not seeing him as Jim the whole time. Like, all I kept thinking was, where the fuck is Pam? And, when does Michael Scott, like, bring out his party pants or whatever they were called? Seeing him in that movie kind of fucked it up for me, but in not any kind of real way. I just wanted to say that, do yourself a solid and go see that shit. I super enjoyed it, obviously, because I just waxed poetically, or maybe not poetically, but I waxed certainly for quite some time. Piggybacking off of that, Charlie,
maybe that movie was just the biggest prank that Jim ever pulled on Dwight.
Fucking Dwight. You owe us something, Charlie.
Oh yeah, I almost forgot about that. I have a Scarface review. Because Charlie, is one of the two people in the whole world that didn't see Scarface until he was in his 30s. Why don't you give us your general synopsis of the movie Scarface? All right. So once again, I watched it once. This was about 2 months ago, though, because with last podcast we decided on two movies that I needed to watch that I haven't seen. One being Scarface, and the other being Apocalypse Now, which I still haven't watched.
True.
But I did watch Scarface, and it was really, really amazing. I don't even know where to begin. I'm trying to clear my thoughts here because it was months ago at this point. But there's so much cocaine. when I think about it, the first thing I think about is him diving his face into that mountain of cocaine on his back, and it's just so funny.
This is where like everyone does like their Pacino impression of Scarface right now, but mine is so god awful I won't even upset people with that. But it really.
I'll do you one better. Do you wanna fuck me, Tony?
That is the most uncomfortable part of that whole fucking movie. I'm like, bitch, you're the sister. Am I missing something here? Like, is cocaine really that crazy that you eventually fuck your siblings? Like, because if that's the case, I'm fucking way good. Like,
yeah,
I don't.
I think that was the point of it. The shit got way out of hand. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. And like, one thing I liked about it was like, it was like so 80s, like to the extreme. Like the clothes they're wearing, and the fucking all the music is all synthesized, and it's just like, I don't know, it just has this vibe. It's like so 80s, and then there's all the cocaine and all the guns. I'm trying to think, like, I need to watch it again.
I thought that movie was supposed to be, I might be being like that kind of a dick, but I thought that movie was supposed to be set in the 70s. Because wasn't it supposed to be like a Studio 54 kind of time period?
I don't know what the setting was, but...
Nope. I actually just Googled it. 1980. My fault.
I know it was released in the 80s, but the year, the year of the movie was 1980?
Yeah, it was. It was 1980. Antonio Montana.
Yeah, but I really enjoyed it, and I will definitely watch it again at some point, because I don't know why I have never seen it yet.
And you also just binge watched one of my the obligatory every Italian in the world's favorite movie. You just binge watched the shit out of the Godfather 1 and 2, correct?
Yeah, and we almost made it through 3, but we have like half an hour left, and I don't think either of us feels like finishing it. I think that's the general.
I think you and everybody else.
I think that's
yeah.
There's some, you know what? There's more interest in that movie too, with the fucking cousins. Sonny's son and fucking Michael's daughter. What's up with that?
Weird. What is up with that? That's what I'm saying.
Like, you're fucking cousins, and you're not in West Virginia.
Literally.
So why are you fucking?
Fun fact, down here in the South, you know how back home we make fun of West Virginians for being incestual and, you know, the hills have eyes? Sure. Here they make fun of Arkansas and Oklahoma like that.
Oh, really?
Like that's their, like, I think mostly Arkansas, I think. Yeah, they that's the kissing cousin state.
Yeah.
So that's interesting fun fact. I had made reference to somebody said something, it was some random thing, but I basically made like a only in West Virginia kind of comment like that, and they looked at me like, West Virginia, that's a beautiful state. I'm like, no, yeah, but they kiss cousins. Oh no, that's Arkansas. I'm just like, well, I mean, they do it there too, maybe, but I drove through there. They definitely do it there for fucking sure.
Yeah, but yeah, we watched The Godfathers. I've seen The Godfathers before, but it's been a while. Those movies are really good. Besides Part 3. That's the general consensus, right?
Yeah, no, it definitely is. 1, you know, everyone loves 1 because 1 is The Godfather, and then 2 is a great movie. You know, it's nice too because that's when they really get into like I love how they do, like, they mesh the old story with the new story, and everything is kind of going in all the directions. It's really a nice way to keep that 3.5 fucking hour long movie kind of fresh the whole time. And then the third one, I'll be very honest, I think I might have only watched that maybe 2-3 times. Yeah, one I loved, 2 I thought was really good, and then 3 was just like,
why are we doing this?
Yeah. You know, next thing I wanted to talk about, and I know that there's like literally no segue here at all, but fuck it.
We don't need segues.
Fuck your segues, stupid two-wheeled fucking dolly cart looking thing.
Are we moving on from watching stuff, or are you going to something else?
Well, yeah, that's what I was going to. I mean, is that okay?
You're the itinerary guy. Well,
I know. Then why are you questioning me, Charlie? Then like I've got the paper in front of me, Chuck. I'm the one that wrote things down, and I can almost read what I wrote on here. All right.
Usually that's my job, and I'm feeling out of control.
Well, you let go of those reins, Bubba. I will guide you in. That was gross. Dude.
Wait. I want to talk about.
Do it.
I just want to talk about a couple Netflix shows that I think are worth watching.
Okay.
Do I have your permission or approval?
You have my permission and my undivided attention as I pick up my papers off the ground that my bastard cat just kicked everywhere.
All right. I'm just going to do these really fast because I'm not good at reviewing, obviously.
Do the Micro Machine guy version of it. Remember the Micro Machine guy from the commercials and he talked really, really, really fast?
No, but I'm not going to do that.
Okay, fair enough. Just a suggestion.
The Joel McHale Show with Joel McHale.
I love Joel McHale.
If you love Joel McHale,
do it in your Mr. Movie Phone version of this. If you love Joel McHale.
If you love Joel McHale, if you love Talk Soup, if you love the talk, then you will love the Joel McHale Show with Joel McHale. Because it's fucking hilarious. So this is
I'm a big fan of his.
A weekly Netflix show, okay? I think they got 13 episodes or whatever. Basically just, they show clips of, mostly from reality shows, but they also do like YouTube clips and make fun of them. And it's hilarious. That's the bottom line. If you like The Soup, if you like Joel McHale, watch this show because you'll like it. That's my micro review.
Love me some Micro. Fun fact, Micro was an opera singer. Micro Dirty Jobs was an opera singer. Google it. I may have made that up.
Micro was an opera singer?
Yeah, he was an opera singer.
That just doesn't seem right.
Well, it's a dirty job. Someone's got to do it. Hey! Oh! That was terrible. So that's Joel McHale Show. Okay, I'm with you. I'm gonna watch it. What's next?
All right.
Roseanne, right?
Yeah, we can go Roseanne. You want to talk Roseanne?
I don't want to talk Roseanne because I haven't seen it yet, and I'm excited about it though because I loved that show when I was a little kid.
It's so good. We'll wait till next time. That's fine if you want to watch it first. But I can tell you that you're not going to be disappointed.
I didn't think I was going to be. Roseanne doesn't disappoint.
Yeah, we watched every episode up until this week, so I'm up to date on that. It's great. It's really great. Laugh out loud great.
Well.
Because, for folks like us, Roseanne, it hits home. Because, hey,
it sure
that's
does.
my family. That family's fucked up like my family.
I feel that.
But the other show I wanted to talk about was the Santa Clarita Diet. Are you familiar with this?
I haven't watched it yet. I just saw the preview for it on there, and it looked pretty good. Be gentle. Don't say anything.
It's more than pretty good. It's very good.
Okay.
They just released season 2 on Netflix. The Netflix original series. Premise of the show is it stars Drew Barrymore. Who doesn't love Drew Barrymore, right?
If you don't, we can't be friends.
Exactly. Drew Barrymore and Timothy Olyphant, which you might not know his name, but you'll probably recognize him because he's been in a bunch of movies over the years, a bunch of shit.
Okay.
I think he was in Was he in Justified? Let me let's do a Google. Timothy.
What did you say?
Olyphant.
Shit.
Wikipedia, not good for high school papers, but great for podcasts. I just want to see.
Timothy can't spell his last name. Timothy Leary, I know that one. Anyway.
God, he's been in so much shit.
So much shit. Continue, Chuck. Continue. What are we talking about here? What's happening? 51st Dates? Is it something like that? Because that movie's amazing. What are we talking about here?
He was in Justified.
The Justin Timberlake album from 2003?
No, it was
Damn it.
It was like a Western-style TV show. I think it was on FX.
I feel like you're kind of doing like how Pittsburgh people do when they want to like give you directions to places. They'll tell you places that used to be there, and you still don't even know where those places were in order to get to where you're going.
His filmography is huge. So what I'm trying to tell you is you would recognize him, even if you don't recognize his name. That's all I'm trying to tell you there. Anyway.
I'm busting your balls. I know exactly who he is.
Back to the show. Drew Barrymore, Timothy Olyphant. The premise of the show is Drew Barrymore somehow turns into a zombie, and she needs to eat people. I would best describe it as a dark comedy, but it is. It is really funny, fantastic. Drew Barrymore is at her finest in more ways than one.
Oh.
But I think Timothy Olyphant takes the cake in this show as the star because he is just the way he acts and the way he delivers his lines is hilarious. He is LOL funny.
Oh, Charlie's laughing out loud. Charlie is giving this 3 thumbs up. Feud. Charlie Day's wife is in that as well. Mary Elizabeth Ellis. Charlie Day's wife, the waitress from Always Sunny. Fun times.
Okay. Yeah, is that her?
Sure is. That's what Wikipedia just told me.
That is her, huh? She looks a lot older. I guess that happens over 10 years or so.
So,
but anyway,
do you have anything else?
No, I just want to say I highly recommend that show. If you like zombies and you like funny things, then that's the show. That's the show for you.
I'm going to have to watch that because I enjoy Drew Barrymore, zombies, The Waitress, dark comedy. I think I'm going to check that one out, Charlie. Thank you for the recommendation there. I appreciate it.
I feel stupid because I didn't recognize her at all. I recognized the face, but I didn't realize it was her.
Well, there's like maybe 5 to 6 programs that my wife and myself we watch on our television. We are creatures of habit terribly, and Bob's Burgers being one, and one of the major ones that we watch outside of Trailer Park Boys, which I did get to see them live the other day. That was one of the greatest things I've ever seen in the entirety of my life. Have you ever watched Trailer Park Boys before?
Not much. I've seen it here and there.
Well, basically the show is 3 knucklehead friends they live in Halifax, I believe Nova Scotia. That could be totally wrong because I barely understand how Canada does their shit up there. However, as per Michael Holshoe, they have the greatest strip clubs. So anyway, it's these 3 knucklehead friends, and they're super white trash. They live in a trailer park, and they're like super endearing and awesome, as well as being incredibly, terribly white trash and everything else. Really funny. And so they have this television show where they're always getting into trouble within this trailer park, going to jail, coming out, smoking weed, whatever. Well, they do basically a tour where they just take those 3 characters and they pretend as if this company puts them on tour. and they just go and like basically act out the television show on stage. They make it seem like it's all a big part of real life. And my wife and myself fucking love that show. There's a character on there named Bubbles, and he is incredible. And it made my wife's life, and she surprised me. She bought me tickets to see that a few months ago, and then God rest his soul, the actor who plays the trailer park manager, Mr. Leahy, but his real name is John Dunsworth. He passed away a few months ago, so they canceled part of the tour and then reassigned dates for it. So we got to go to the Majestic Theater in downtown Dallas, and we got to go see them, and it was fucking awesome. So if you have a chance, Charlie suggested 2 shows. I suggest doing yourself a solid, smoking a bong and watching fucking Trailer Park Boys. You should do that if it's permitted in your state. So there's that. But what I did want to talk about, Charlie, on top of that, piggybacking off of that, if I say the term two-per to you, Charlie, what does that make you think of?
Shoes.
Yes, stomping in my Air Force Ones. But if you think back to that same time period, we both wore some pretty sketchy facial hair, right?
Oh, that's what. Yeah, that's what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. So when we were young kids, what were we, like 16, something like that?
Yeah, I'd say around there, 16-ish.
When we were about 16 years old, we still watched the WWF. Now, around that time is when I was getting out of WWF and started. My cousin Joe blessed me and learned me on the mixed martial arts stuff. So I kind of pulled away from that once I realized how silly I thought it was. And so I kind of stopped watching it. And you proceeded to watch it for just a little bit longer. You had the worst man crush on Jeff Hardy, right? Jeff Hardy? Am I right?
Yeah, you're right.
And he what was his finishing move, Charlie? Moonsault or something of that nature?
From the top rope, he did the Swanton Bomb.
Oh, the Swanton Bomb.
Which was like a swan dive, and then you just fucking flip over on the last minute, and somehow that hurts the other guy.
Yeah, that's fun stuff. Well, recently, my wife, myself, one of her really, really close friends, and one of my new buddies, because he's an awesome dude, we all four of us, we went on a double date. We went out to eat, right? And after that, we went to a bar, and it was in like the real hipstery part of downtown Fort Worth. And so while we're out, me and him were talking about sports and about all this other stuff. And he started talking about the WWE and how he follows like the feeder leagues that feed into the WWF, right? This dude, by the end of our conversation, like sparked how much I used to love that shit in my heart when I was a little kid. Like I left that evening, like went home and just started binge watching WCW shit and WWF shit from when I was a kid. And I think the last wrestling match I watched was like 2003, 2, something like that, when Hulk Hogan came back and fought in that last match. His face was all fucking bloody, and everyone is like, "Get up, Hulk, get up!" And the music fucking plays, and he shakes his head no a whole bunch, and you know he cut himself and whatever. But the reason I brought up the two-per thing is at one point in time you took some artistic liberties on your facial hair, did you not?
I sure did.
Why don't you describe for the folks what you did and then how I negatively reacted to it like a big D-bag?
Okay, so I was trying to mimic Jeff Hardy, as you said. I had a slight man crush on him.
Slight isn't the term.
I wouldn't even call it a man crush. He was just my favorite wrestler at the time. I liked the high-flying stuff. But he always had fun facial hair. So I did 2 two very thin sideburns. Okay. So
not two as in one on each side, though.
No.
It was four sideburns.
I will finish explaining. So basically, one pair. It does sound silly when you say it out loud. One pair of the sideburns came in sharply toward like the lip area.
Mm.
And then the other pair of sideburns came in down more towards the chin. So imagine you were growing a beard out, but then you shaved all the middle, and then you shaved just the inside of the beard. It's kind of like the outline of a beard, but in pointing sideburns. Is that a good description?
No, that's a very good description. It's kind of like, if you recall, which you may not, I don't think you ever were a big fan, but Vinnie Paul, the drummer from Pantera, Vinnie Paul kind of had the same deal going on, but in a lot less wussy of a way, because he was the drummer of Pantera and incapable of being a wuss. But whenever I don't remember where we were going, but we were going to go somewhere, and you came out of your house all kinds of proud of this new facial hair endeavor that you just embarked on, and I shit all over it. Did I not?
Yeah, you were terrible. You
terrible.
You literally beat me up over it.
No.
You grappled me in submission. In the water.
But, it was a Saturday night, right? That's what we do. It was the Water Authority parking lot, was it not? In my defense, and you recall this, I had some serious concussion action happening, and I was on some antipsychotic medication at the time, so I have an excuse. I was having a little bit of brain damage issues, but
I left there feeling very defeated.
And I thought of this so the whole time, and I didn't bring that up to make myself sound like as big of a cunt as I just did, but the first thing I thought of, he's showing me these videos and stuff on his phone in this little feeder league or whatever, local league. This dude was doing these gnarly high-flying things, and I thought of Jeff Hardy, and then I instantly thought of how much of an asshole I was to you that evening. Do you remember I think you shoved your fingers in my mouth and I bit the shit out of them?
No.
I think you tried to fish hook me.
Yeah, the old man claw.
That is probably what you went for. That's true. But what the worst part of all that is like how much nerve did I have thinking I had any right, number one, telling you on how to do your facial hair. In hindsight, it was pretty beautiful. You did a great job. I had purple hair at the time, and I'm fairly confident I was rocking like Glenn Danzig pork chop sideburns in a shitty. And you know what's fucked up is none of you guys told me how terrible that goatee looked. Like, I thought we were friends. Why the fuck didn't you beat me up in the parking lot, walk around with that? Like, my senior picture is hanging in my grandfather's house, and I have shitty Glenn Danzig sideburns and like a tuft of hair coming off my chin that just looks like ball hair. It's so bad. And no one said a word. No, everyone just, I guess it was because I was a little mentally unstable at that point in time in my life, and they were like, just let him go. He's not, chewing the paint off the wall right now, so good for him. But anyway, Chuck, I would like to take a moment and publicly apologize for your two-pair situation and being such a D-bag. I would like to motor into questions now at this point, Charlie. How does that sound?
That sounds good, and I accept your apology.
Oh, I love you, Bubba.
So we have 2 questions from listeners. Well, 3 questions from listeners tonight.
Woot woot.
Woot woot. Thanks to all our listeners.
Who does this first question come from?
First one's going to be from Ian, and I feel like it's going to go pretty deep. All right.
Could get serious.
Top 5 favorite childhood cartoons. Where do you begin? Where do you begin? Should we
what part of your childhood, too? Like, are we going over the entirety?
I'd say...
I say just fucking rapid fire that shit. Let's just go for it. Let's just go for it.
Okay,
I want you to go first.
Are we having a joint top 5 or our own top 5?
I say, well, typically what happens, let's be honest here, you start talking and then I get loud and I talk over you, and and then I make it all about me. So
Thank
we'll
you for being honest.
Hey, it is what it is. You've known me for how long, and I've known myself for even longer. I can't stand me either. But I think you should go first, and I will try to mind my P's and Q's. I will politely insert my opinion on things, and we're going to let you get the whole way through it, and then I've already written down mine in no particular order because I did my homework.
Fuck you.
And we'll go from there. I'm really curious to hear yours, though, because I think it might fuck up mine and remind me on how many awesome shows there were when we were kids. But I would like you to go in no particular order whenever you're ready, Charles.
This is a very tough top 5 list because I watched a lot of cartoons. I still watch a lot of cartoons. But
I watch a shit ton.
We're talking childhood. My number 1, without a doubt, is Turtles. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
For sure.
That's my number 1, without a doubt. Number 2, I'm going X-Men animated series.
Good call. And now, is this your number 2 favorite, or this is just your second answer?
I'd probably.
Or did I complicate things? Okay.
You're complicating things a little bit, but I would put it number 2 favorite because I watch that shit every Saturday morning. So I need 3 more. I was also a big fan of Batman the Animated Series, which was that was on after school. But do you remember it was on the WB channel? It
was on the WB with like Animaniacs and also the fucking Gargoyles. Remember Gargoyles, the show?
Yeah, Gargoyles, Darkwing Duck.
Oh, fucking Darkwing Duck, son of a bitch! You're fucking my world up.
You know what's gonna fuck your world up? Tailspin.
Fucking Tailspin? Oh my god, I love that goddamn show.
Alright, so, fuck.
I got really excited about that. I apologize.
I am gonna throw, I don't know if this counts as childhood, but I think it does. I'm gonna throw Pokemon in there.
Gotta catch them all. I knew you were gonna say that. I'm writing this down, but I have no clue how to spell Pokemon, so it's just gonna be Okemon. That looks right. That looks right. You know how to
spell Pokemon?
I have a visceral aversion to fucking Pokemon. Just so you know. You know that. Not just so you know that. You fucking know that shit.
Yeah, that's fine. I know that. I was probably like 11 or 12 when I was watching Pokemon. That still counts as childhood, I think.
Yeah, no, for sure.
All right, let me get one more in here. There's so many. See, like, things come to mind like Transformers and Masters of the Universe, but honestly, those shows...
I didn't really fuck with either of those shows.
I think we were a little too young for their main go at it. And things like Thundercats, too. That was like right before it. So that was like our brother's time.
No, for sure. I watched Transformers specifically because of my brother.
Yeah,
me too.
So for me, I'm gonna say, there's just so many choices. SpongeBob, not a childhood cartoon. SpongeBob came on when we were teenagers. But I'd say it's one of the best cartoons ever made.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I don't totally agree because I watched SpongeBob, but I didn't really enjoy watching SpongeBob.
You know what? My number 5, I'm gonna go Rocket Power.
I have no clue what that is.
It's a Nicktoon, and it was about a group of kids who, they did like extreme sports. They did surfing and skateboarding.
Oh shit! Yeah. It was in like Hawaii or some shit, right?
Yeah, that was my favorite Nicktoon ever. So I'm going to pick that one. Also, I guess it wouldn't be childhood. It was more teenage years, but I'm going for that. I want to throw in here as a bonus number 6 pick an adulthood cartoon that my children watch, Adventure Time. Do you know anything about Adventure Time?
Not a fucking book. Nope.
It is a Cartoon Network show, and it's about a boy named Finn and his dog Jake, and they're in this fantasy land. It's kind of like it's like fantasy inspired, but with like all these super weird characters from all these weird different lands. Like there's Princess Bubblegum, but not Bubblegum. No, it was like
Bubblegum. What are your kids watching?
Bubblegum. And actually, to tie this in, Marceline, the grandbaby, was named after Marceline from the TV show Adventure Time. Marceline is the vampire queen.
Interesting.
So that's my bonus number 6 pick, and it is a fantastic cartoon. One of the best I've ever seen. If I was a child when this was, in its prime, I would have been in love with it. Your turn.
Okay. Those are all good answers. I mean, we're very similar and very different at the same time.
All right, let's hear it.
That was such a dumb statement to make. This is in no particular order whatsoever. I'm just going to spit them out, and they're going to come to you. So when I was a little kid, I did not have cable until probably like 4th grade, 5th grade. So like a lot of shit I watched when I was a little kid. I didn't really watch TV a lot as like a really little kid. You know what I mean? The stuff that I did watch was going to be on like channel 53 or 22 or whatever the old turny knob TVs would let you get.
Oh yeah, been there, done that.
I watched. So basically, like a big chunk of mine were like Nicktoons. So anyway, and then also I just want to jump into your top 5 favorite shows off the top of the dome from between ages 5 and 14, just to see where you're at. So start thinking about that.
Any show?
Yeah, just shows in general, because there was like a bunch of really random ones that I was obsessed with as a little kid.
Between the ages of 5 and 14. That's pretty specific.
Yeah, because there's like I don't know. Anyway, that's the fucking age group, and you just abide by it. God damn it, Charlie. Not number 1, but the first one on my list obviously was Ninja Turtles. I was obsessed with that shit when I was a little kid. And like, this is number 1A and number 1B basically for me. And neither one is A or B. They're just both my number 1 answers. The Real Ghostbusters, the cartoon. Obsessed with that shit. I still watch it now regularly. They actually released it a couple years ago. Thank you, Joe Saxman, for posting about it. It made my day. They released like the Ghostbuster Tower Blu-ray holder that held all of the DVDs. I believe it was like one of those Time Life deals, like you used to advertise on TV.
Uh-huh.
So that's my 1A, 1B. Directly after that, there's literally no order to this whatsoever. When I was a little kid, I was obsessed with Beavis and Butthead, and my parents were cool enough to let me watch it constantly. So much so that, like, I'm talking like 2nd and 3rd grade, I had like the trading cards. I had the book that had a remote with it that had like push button shit on it. It was called This Sucks, Change It. And you would read through the book, which I couldn't read till I was a lot older than that, but you push the little buttons on it and it would like laugh and whatever. Piggybacking off of that, I actually just wrote down a shit ton. I didn't even go 1 through 5 because fuck it, right? I'm running this shit. I do what I want. Directly after Beavis and Butthead was King of the Hill. I was obsessed with that fucking show. Hank Hill is the fucking man.
Well, they're made by the same guy, right? Greg
Mike Judge, yeah.
Mike Judge.
Mike Judge.
Yep.
Exactly. And so directly after that, once again, cool parents. I watched South Park since it came out, but I believe we were probably old enough to watch it when it first came out. We were in, like 6th or 7th grade?
Yeah.
So I've been obsessed with that. To be a little fun fact about me and my wife, the first night we met, this beautiful college-educated young lady quoted a South Park line, and I knew in that moment I was going to marry her.
The first South Park line.
That's right. So quickly after that one, Ren and Stimpy. I was obsessed with Ren and Stimpy when I was a kid.
Great choice. Great choice. And my third one what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. My 8th one, no, I'm sorry. That was Ren and Stimpy. That was my last one. I'm sure there was more, and I'm sure there was other things I was really into. I guess an honorable mention was Doug. I love that show. I love Doug a lot. See, other stuff started popping into my mind, like Simpsons and Futurama.
Yeah, they'll totally. I still watch Futurama and Simpsons regularly. Rocko's Modern Life. I forgot to mention that. That's still one of my favorites. I fucking love that show. So yeah, there's my list. Now, if I could just transition real quick, favorite shows. So like the reason I picked that age is because like that's right around the time when I first got cable. So like a lot of like random channels that so like TV Land. Do you remember TV Land? It was like replayed shows from the 70s and 80s and shit.
Yeah.
Like Lucy and fucking Bob Newhart and shit.
MASH.
I fucking love MASH. I used to watch MASH. So like a lot of these shows are specifically because of my parents and my brother and my sister and shit, right? So top 5 favorite shows from when I was a kid. It's not fucking 5, but it is what it is. Number 1, Dukes of Hazzard. I was obsessed with that fucking show when I was a little kid. And it bums me out that because they had a Confederate flag on the top of that car, that show's not on TV anymore, which is bullshit because there's never anything racial on that show. Hurts my heart a little bit. Did you ever watch Dukes of Hazzard as a kid?
Yeah, I watched it a little bit, not all the time, but I've definitely seen it a bunch. Okay, I don't think I have a whole list for you, but I have a number 1 show from that age range.
Lay it on me.
X-Files.
Fuck yes, dude, it's on my list. You beautiful human, Charlie.
Me and my dad, we would watch that show when it was on. Originally, it was on Friday nights before they moved to Sundays. We would watch it every single week, just me and him, and it was that's a good dad memory.
Hell yeah, X-Files is and was one of my all-time favorite TV shows, and that's so much so why ever since I was a little kid I've been into aliens and conspiracy stuff.
Yeah,
and all kinds of.
That got me into supernatural kind of stuff.
Yeah, hell yes. I was obsessed with that show.
For sake, at least. And I don't know, I don't know, my dad, I don't think my dad's really into that kind of stuff, so I don't know if he was just getting into it or if he was just hanging out, you know what I mean? Maybe he just wanted to hang out.
Not me, dude. You know me, I'm balls deep in that shit. I love anything that has to do with, extraterrestrials or I want to believe 100%. Anything with paranormal activity, any of that junk, I'm way into it, and I believe all of it. So my first show was Dukes of Hazzard. 1B was X-Files. So we on point, Charlie.
Have you watched any of the new X-Files from this new season?
I watched the first 2 episodes, and that's it. I don't really, being super honest, I don't watch TV much. I don't.
No, I get that.
I'm not that I don't have the opportunity, not like I'm super busy. My wife, when she comes home from work, she just puts on whatever she wants to watch, and I just am perfectly content just chilling. But whenever I do kind of have the one for it, X-Files is typically something I turn on. I just need to get back into watching it.
That first episode was really weird.
Yeah, it was a rough jump in right off the bat.
They were like, I don't know if they were trying to, they were obviously trying to establish that storyline. I don't want to give any spoilers away because that's a pretty, there's a lot of information.
It's relatively fresh, yeah.
There's a lot of information in that episode, but the way it was written, I guess, was kind of weird, not typical X-Files form. But all the episodes after that are on point, really good. And that's one thing I like about the X-Files is you get the main storyline episodes, which are, serious and dark and, kind of scary. But then in between that, you get the fucking goofy ones that are fun the whole time.
Yeah.
So
those are always kind of like the fun little reprieve.
Yeah, it doesn't take itself too seriously.
No. Another show that I was obsessed with when I was a kid, this is a weird one. Do you remember fucking Bob Vila? This Old House?
Yeah.
Obsessed with that shit when I was a little kid. Me and my dad, we'd sit, and that's kind of like you were just saying about the X-Files thing. Me and my dad would watch Bob Vila, and my dad would sit there and tell the TV how he's not fixing it right. And
that's awesome.
Yeah. Most of the time, I venture to guess my dad was right. That motherfucker's handy. But it is Bob Vila though, so my dad could beat up Bob Vila, so fuck him. But Bob Vila, This Old House, and also, do you remember the show Clarissa Explains It All?
Yeah, baby, Melissa Joan Hart.
Had the worst crush on Melissa Joan Hart when I was a little kid. Piggybacking off of that shit, do you remember Alex Mack?
Yeah. That was like...
You drug that one out there at the end.
I know it, and I didn't watch it a lot, but was that our time, or was that after our time?
No. That was our time, bro. I had Larissa Olenek was her name. I know that because one Christmas someone got me Nick magazine or Nickelodeon magazine or some shit, and she was on the cover of it. And in about the 5th grade, Rob had a serious crush on that chick. She was in 10 Things I Hate About You. What was the name of that terrible show with the Joker in it? Or the terrible movie with the chick with the big forehead?
You talking about Julia Stiles?
Yeah, can't stand that bitch.
Really?
Not her personally. Just every role she ever played was like this obnoxious, pretentious bitch. And I hold that personally against people.
Well, did you wait? No, okay. What about she had a big role in? Oh fuck! Come on, Chuck. What are those Matt Damon movies?
Born Identity movies?
Yeah. Matt Damon's made a lot of movies, so I'm glad you knew what I was talking about.
What are those Matt Damon movies? You know that one movie by Matt Damon?
Well, that's what I was referring to. She has a big role in those movies, and she also. Did you ever watch Dexter?
Of course.
Okay, well, she has a whole season in Dexter where she's fucking awesome. She's a barrel girl.
Okay. Technicalities, but for the most part.
10 Things I Hate About You, great fucking movie.
Okay, Charlie. You know what? You always do this. You always do this. I spout off at the mouth, and you got to call me out on it. And yeah, Charlie, you're right. She's a good actress, and I just hold grudges because I'm a dummy.
And yeah, okay, her forehead's a little big, but she's still pretty good looking.
She looks like a piranha. Like, let's be like totally honest here. She kind of looks like an albino chimpanzee. Okay.
Chimpanzee.
Chimpanzee. Yes. And
yes, please.
yes, please. So yeah, and the honorable mention on favorite TV shows. You'll get a giggle out of this. Scramble. You remember trying to watch Scramble when you were a little kid?
I don't even know what that is.
Charlie, don't pretend like you don't know what it is. When you flip past the Playboy channel and you'd get like the scrambly TV screen for a second and like you might see a titty.
You mean, yeah, when the TV's actually scrambled. I have a funny story about Black Box.
Black Box? Like
yeah, you remember the old cable boxes that had the red digital display with the channel number?
Yeah.
Okay, well, people would get those, but they would call it a black box. That's when you were stealing cable.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Nobody when I was a kid had one of those, unfortunately. I was steady trying to watch that fucked up TV channel with like the little bit, it would be like greens and purples and reds, and then every now and again you'd see a titty for like a half a second, and you'd be like, I saw a titty, because, we had to actually work for that shit. We didn't have the internet back in the day.
Okay, well...
But what are you talking about, though? Black...
Not to incriminate anybody, so I won't mention names, but a very close friend of ours who lived across the street from me in a blue house...
Aha! I know what you're talking about.
So
Dave Ansel, right?
Yeah, right by Dave Ansel there.
Yes, exactly.
They had a black box, okay? So you could get all the fucking wrestling pay-per-views and whatever. It all just comes across the TV, no problem.
No problem.
So we're sitting in the living room watching fucking WrestleMania or SummerSlam or some shit. And, okay, you remember this house. It's a one-story house with a finished basement, but the black box is up in the main living room, okay? And the parents' bedroom is about 10 feet away, right down the hall.
Okay.
So we're watching this wrestling pay-per-view. It's pretty loud because it's wrestling. Mm-hmm. So we're watching, having a good old time. And then friend of ours who lived in a blue house.
We'll call him Azul.
Decided to turn on the Playboy channel. And we were probably like 14 years old at this time, so that's a big deal. That's a pretty big deal. Y'all
was about to see some fucking no penetration for sure.
So the problem arises when...
the problem did arise. Bada bing!
Oh! So when you go from watching a wrestling pay-per-view at full volume to turning on the Playboy channel with the volume all the way down.
Oh, Christ.
And his mom calls from the other room. She says, what are you guys doing out there? Like, she fucking knows.
Dude, and she's like one of the sweetest people that has ever walked the face of the earth, too.
She didn't dare, step out into the room to see what we were doing. But she knew it.
You just see a bunch of little kid boners everywhere, you little perverts.
What do you get? What's going on out there? How come you turn the volume down? We didn't want to interrupt your sleep or some bullshit like that. So that's my
that was the greatest everyone, I'm sure everyone looked around the room like, yes, she'll never guess. Meanwhile she's in the room like, God damn it.
This fucking black box, get rid of this shit.
These kids these days just don't have any they have no clue. You wanted to see a titty when you were a little kid, you had a couple options.
It took effort.
You either had a friend who had a dad who had a stash.
Mm-hmm.
You had a friend who had an older brother who would buy it for you, i.e. my cousin Joe. Shout out to my cousin. I guess that's actually bad. I shouldn't have said that. Anyway. And then you had the friend who had apparently the black box.
The black box, yep.
Now every little kid gets it on their iPads and shit, and now we wonder why the world's so fucking weird. That is an interesting fucking story. And also awkward as shit. What the fuck? Who had decided to turn in the Playboy show while there was a bunch of buddies in the room? That's
well, I think it was just me and him.
Oh, motherfucker was just trying to set the mood and shit.
I played the fifth.
That is fucking priceless. That's good shit. So we conquered one question. What else do we got? Because I feel like we're running way long on this episode here.
We're running super long, but I don't give a fuck.
Fuck it. If you're still listening, I love you guys.
Yes, love you. Thank you. We have a We have a semi-question from my wife, Jerry Lynch. Okay. Chuck Lynch, tagged.
Oh, shit.
Maybe you can talk about how it took me a month to lose the same amount of weight it took you to lose in 4 days.
Oh, God.
So, the premise of this semi, a couple weeks ago, very recently, I started just watching what I'm eating, mostly just counting calories, not eating garbage, not drinking pop, just trying to be a little more conscientious in my decisions with my sacred temple of a body.
Mm-hmm. Motherfucker is sacred.
So the first week, or not even a full week, I lost 8.5 pounds.
Woo! Hell yeah, Chuck, good job.
Because it fucking, it just fucking fell off because I'm not feeding my body with garbage.
Yeah.
So, I guess that's a little bit of a jealousy bug that she has. But I told her...
you shouldn't have said that. Well, she's not going to listen to this.
It's the baby fat. That's what I told you before. It's just, that initial crap just burns off quicker than the rest.
And not to sound like any kind of a dick, Chuck, because I love you, but you holding on to a little bit more on a grander scale than the wifey.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Just saying, you got a lot of bit more reserve.
Well, yeah, that's another thing too. It's not so much the poundage, but it's percentage. So if we did a percentage, that's like nothing. That's just a semi question that we had to cover. And
Jenny, you're beautiful.
Oh, she's gorgeous, isn't she?
That made my morning to be able to have a cup of coffee with you guys whenever I was up visiting. That was fucking wonderful.
We drank a lot of coffee. That was fun.
Yes, it was great. It was great. That made the trip quite wonderful.
She was a little bit salty that she thought she wasn't going to see you. So then when I told her you were coming over, she was happy because she wanted to talk to you.
She was still upset with us for being up and talking. Remember whenever she texted you? We were up giggling like fucking schoolgirls. So what's the next question?
So we have our first ever Twitter question.
Woo.
This question comes from the one and only Paul McGinty of the McSauce podcast and McSauce.com.
Beautiful person, beautiful man.
This question, Rob, just like every other question, is directly for you, except the last one was directly for me.
Yeah, I was going to say, what the fuck are you talking about?
Lay
it on me, Paul, what it is. Fuck are you talking about?
Paul says, Rob, did you get more enjoyment out of playing covers or originals in various bands? That's
a good and easy question.
Okay.
I shouldn't say I never. I more often than not did not enjoy. I did not typically enjoy playing covers. I am very aware of my skill level, or lack thereof, and I just never thought I should ever play anybody else's music because I will make it into doo-doo. Now, fortunately, like all of the bands I was ever in, I was always, including yourself, young Charles. I was always in bands with people that were infinitely better than me. So it kind of overshadowed the fact that I
don't belong with that crowd.
You look better than me. You got that beautiful hair. But so, no, I always liked, not that I ever wrote a damn good song in my life, but I always would prefer to play my own music because it just felt more honest. And except for I did enjoy when we did those medleys. For the most part, like the first one or two times we did it, I thought that was a lot of fun, stringing the random ass songs together. But for the most part, no, I always, like, I don't think I would ever play in like I would totally play in a cover band, but it would have to be a cover band of an era of music that I actually personally enjoy. Like, I fucking hate pop music. I pretty much always have. That was a big point of like contention for me with any of the cover stuff we did with Seaback, because typically I fucking hated, like, I don't like, I mean, I love me some Katy Perry, but not really Katy Perry's, you know, Dark Horse was a badass song, right? But I mean, you know, California Girls and all that other shit, like, I mean, I just can't, I fucking hate it. I hate it. So yeah, that was always difficult for me. But yeah, no, I definitely, I would totally play in fucking a bunch of different covered type bands, but no one would ever probably want to come see that shit. So yeah, thank you for the question, Paul.
Yeah, thank you for that question. That's a good question and a solid fucking answer from Rob Gold himself.
Now, how do you feel, Charlie? Did you like playing? I mean, your input is, I mean, you played in the same band, so you know, like, I mean, any other band that I was ever in always did their own shit.
Okay.
Seaback was the first band I was ever in. I mean, other than, like, just sticking around with you guys, you know, when we were younger.
From my perspective, though, it was all cover music. I was just covering Seaback and with Seaback. You know what I mean?
That's an interesting point.
You wrote down some tablatures for me, and I fucking played them, and that's about it.
Fair enough. You did well, though. You look beautiful.
I had a lot of fun doing it, too.
Yeah, that was one of the more fun. I wish I would have gotten to see a lot of other folks while I was home. Like I said, when I was home, it was kind of, I really just needed to see my family mostly. And then, you know, fortunately the schedule worked out the way it did, and I got to see a bunch of the HP family. But I wish I would have gotten to see like Billy and a couple other dudes. That'd have been cool. But yeah, there was a lot of Seaback talk while I was home, and that was heartwarming and fun. It was a good time. That was a really fun time in my life. That I wouldn't trade for the world. It was great.
There's a lot of good stories from that era of life.
The fun part was that as drunk as Matthew Codwell used to get, he remembers a ton of it, and I don't. And he kept saying, "You remember this?" And it's like, "No." And then he would talk about it, be like, "Oh yeah." But
it's like
so yeah, you did
blackout drunk without the blackout.
Yeah, because me personally, I drink like 3 drinks and fuck it, I don't remember half the evening.
Right.
So yeah, so there's that. That I think that just about ties it all the fuck up, Charlie.
That's good, man. We're definitely way over time here. We're getting close to 2 hours, I think.
Well, that's too much. I gotta go to bed, brother. I gotta be up for work in the morning. Gotta play plumber.
Fuck, I gotta go to bed. I'm an hour ahead of you.
I gotta set the alarm. I go to the gym at like 5 o'clock in the morning.
Hey,
So this has been great. And I
make sure you check out our Facebook. Just search for "We Hope This Finds You Well" with Rob and Chuck. You'll find it there if you know how to type things in. Follow us on Twitter. Same deal there. Fucking find us because you're not fucking idiots. Check out our at
Rob and Chuck, right?
At Rob and Chuck is our, what do they call that, a handle?
Yeah, something like that. Who knows?
That's our handle, at Rob and Chuck. If you're sitting in a fucking cubicle somewhere, our website might be a good place for you to listen if you don't want to do it on your phone. You can find that at wehopeThisFindsYouWell.libsyn.com. That's LIBSYN.com. What else we got? Facebook, Twitter, website. That's pretty much our story. Someday we might make it to iTunes, but probably not anytime soon, if I'm being honest. Because
nah, fuck that shit.
Why?
Well, thank you guys for listening, and I'm Rob.
I'm Chuck. We hope this finds you well.
We do.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.